Hi Year 11 and welcome to Geometry Lesson 2 on parallel line theorems. We're going to be learning about how to apply the meaning of angles on parallel lines in this section of work and how to apply the test for parallel lines. So we're really looking at two sections and you can see that they are covered in exercise 4.2. Okay, so this section of work is really cool. Euclid was a Greek mathematician and he basically figured out all these really cool rules. So you should know by now the three shapes on parallel lines. So the line that cuts through the parallel lines is called the transversal, and I've got that written up here, so you need to know that term. And then obviously we've got three shapes. So we've got the Z shape, which makes, a Z obviously. Could be a forwards or backwards Z, and those are called alternate angles. The reasoning we use is really important, and this is the reasoning we use here. Alternate angles on parallel lines are equal, so it's really important that you know that reasoning. Also, if the alternate angles are equal, then the lines that form them must be parallel. So this is kind of the converse, and in Year 11 you need to know how to prove backwards, and we've kind of done that since Year 8 as well. Okay, so co-interior angles on parallel lines make an F shape, and you can see that there. They could also be a backwards F, an upside down one, so you see some examples that are kind of further down here. Okay, there's 4 examples there. You also need to know the converse. So if the corresponding angles are equal, then the lines that form them must be parallel. Okay, and you need to know how to prove those. Fantastic. So what you should notice there is that corresponding angles form an F shape, so that's what we just did, and also note the converse, which I've highlighted in blue. Okay, the final type of angle on parallel lines are called co-interior angles, and the reasoning we can write are co-interior angles are supplementary, or co-interior angles add to 180 degrees. There are 2 examples below here of the converse, so if the co-interior angles add to 180, then the lines that form them must be parallel. So you also need to know how to prove that the lines are parallel, not just find missing angles. Okay. This is also an important point in Year 11, which doesn't really get covered earlier, but basically, if 2 lines are both parallel to a third line, then the 3 lines are parallel to each other. So in this picture here, AB is parallel to CD, EF is parallel to CD, and AB is parallel to EF. Okay, so all 3. Okay, the first example, find the value of the missing pronumerals. So we'll just have a quick look at them. Different pictures, different scenarios, and question 2 is asking you to work backwards, okay? So that's kind of all we're going to cover this lesson. So let's look at the first one here. In this first one, you'll notice that there is actually a C shape in this picture. You can see it there. So that's corresponding angles. And if they're corresponding angles, I can say that N plus 85 degrees equals to 180. And I can say co-interior angles are supplementary. Okay, and so in this case, N would be equal to 95 degrees. Okay, and that would be the final answer there. Going on to B. B has a circle, and inscribed inside the circle are 2 triangles, so you can see them there. We've got N, M, 48 and 54, but we've also got these parallel lines given. Okay, so what you should notice is that there's a Z shape formed here, and there's also another Z shape formed here. Okay, so having a look at those, you should be able to see that straight away that N is equal to 54 degrees and M is equal to 48 degrees. And the reason for both of those would be alternate angles on parallel lines are equal. Now really you should be writing down the names of the parallel lines, but these particular parallel lines are not named, so I'm not going to be doing that. Okay, if you have a look at question C in the next picture, this one tells us that there's alpha and beta, so those are the things we need to find. We're given some information in this triangle here. You should be able to recognize in this picture that there's a Z shape formed here. So sometimes the orientation will be a bit funny and you have to look at it carefully. So in this one I can say straight away that alpha is equal to 51 degrees. And my reason would be alternate angles on parallel lines are equal. And again, you need to write it out in full. You're not allowed to abbreviate anything. So if I've got that there, then basically my job is to now work out beta. And for beta, I can actually say that there's corresponding angles. So you should notice that this makes an F shape here. And the beta and the 39 are actually corresponding angles. So I can straight away say that beta equals 39. And my reasoning for that is corresponding angles on parallel lines are equal. Brilliant. Okay, so have a look at those two examples again. We're now going to have a look at the final example, which is a very common exam style question. So in this question, question D, you should notice that there is a Z shape here, and there is also a Z shape here. So two Z shapes. The first one I can write down is basically I need to work out what y is, okay? So I can write down that y plus 110 equals 180 degrees, and that's because they're co-interior angles, and co-interior angles on parallel lines are supplementary. I can basically then say that y is equal to 70 degrees. So I now know that's 70 degrees, which actually means this one here is 70 degrees. And that's 70 degrees because of alternate angles on parallel lines. I can also say that this one in here is 55 degrees because of alternate angles on parallel lines. So that tells me then that x must be equal to 70 degrees plus 55 degrees. And when I add those two together, I get 125 degrees, but I need to write all those reasons down that I use. So I'm going to write down that alternate angles on parallel lines are equal. Okay, again, I'm writing out every abbreviation in full, and I'm not taking any shortcuts. Alright, question 2 is slightly different. It's asking you to go backwards. So it's saying state whether the lines are parallel, A, B, and C, D, in the diagrams, giving a reason to support your decision. Okay, so this is basically testing, do you know your knowledge? Will it work? Okay, so what I know in question A is this is 102 in here. So that's 102. And this is also 102 in here. Okay, because of vertically opposite angles. So I need to actually start by writing that down. So I'm going to write down angle DBA equals angle BDC. Remember, the capital letter in the middle is where the angle is. Okay, and that equals to 102. And my reason for that is vertically opposite angles are equal. Okay, now you should now notice that these angles in here, they actually make a C shape. So what that means is that technically 2 lots of 102 should be equal to 180, but I know they're actually equal to 204 degrees, and that's not equal to 180, and therefore AB is not parallel to CD, since the angles are not 180 degrees, they are not co-interior. Okay, so you're kind of proving the opposite. Okay, in the next one, you'll notice some things again. So the first thing I can say straight away is this is 70 degrees because of angles on a straight line, and you need to write that out. Then in this one here, however, I can say that this makes a C shape here. So this makes a C shape. And what I can say now is actually that 70 plus 110 degrees is 180. Therefore, co-interior angles exist. Therefore, AB is parallel to CD. So you've got to kind of write out all the reasons in full. That's really important. Okay, the next section, again, you're just still trying to decide are the two lines parallel. You'll notice that there's a C shape here. So this time we're going to test. Is 89 plus 93 equal to 180? And the answer to that is no, they're not equal to 180, they're equal to 182. So you have to say, therefore, since co-interior angles do not exist, comma, AB is not parallel to CD. And there you have it, folks. So that's the end of Geometry Lesson 2. Have a go at exercise 4.2. Choose your level. Again, mark it before you come to class. Do write down any questions you had from this lesson or the one before to ask about in class. Thanks, everybody.